Got tender love and care. Welcome everyone. So today's episode is a little bit different, and you should be able to see the title change. Now the reason that today's stream is so different is because we are at a live watch party, everyone, with today's mixed martial artists, and I just got on the stream, so I am not sure exactly who won, what is what. I'm just getting on here now. I've had a very active, fit day. So if you're joining for the game, welcome. If you're joining just for the live watch party, you're also welcome there. As you know, we cover martial arts, we cover gaming, anything educational. And this is going to be one of our most multifaceted streams. Not only is this going to go in our God TLC Runescape folder, but it's going to go in our God TLC Live and God TLC UFC. Okay. Now I'm just starting off RuneScape here, as you all can see. And we have, I believe, the last bout of the night. I saw a little bit of the last one being Rose and Blankage. I said her name correctly. Now it's Brandon Moreno versus a new martial artist. I haven't heard of him. I read a little bit about his history. I heard some of the commentators there. He's from Iraq, Baghdad, Iraq. And moved to Syria. And against Brandon Moreno, who I know trained with Jorge Capetillo. So this is very interesting. Brandon Moreno has been in the mixed martial arts competition for a while. I believe he was also on the Ultimate Fighter. He was the champion at one point. And when he went against, competed against Pantoja, Pantoja has his number. I mean, Pantoja and him have seen each other before. And I believe in both times Pantoja has been victor. But he's still at it. I know that, okay, Amir Al-Bazi, 17-1, 5'5", 125 pounds, fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona. So I wonder if he trains with Winkle John in Arizona. I'd have to look that up. The same gym as John Jones. I'd have to verify that. But he does have a very interesting background, being from Baghdad, Iraq, a place that over the last how many years? Half a century has been at war. I mean, really bad war. A place that saw the likes of Saddam Hussein, and I remember the battle with the U.S. and the other parts of the world. So he comes from a very war-torn location, and then he moved to Syria, which has its share of war, a tough part of the world, a very hard part of the world, a very violent part of the world, just being in places that are known historically for always being at war. Rich cultures, and I know people from both locations, but just a very, in the U.S. when people come here from Cuba, they're known to receive asylum, as well as other parts of the world, and I think he may have qualified for that against Brandon Moreno, who always has a competitive, very, what's the term, respectful martial artist demeanor. He's someone who doesn't trash talk. Never heard him trash talk from Tijuana, same place as Rey Mysterio. And if I heard correctly, the first Mexican-born champion. So he definitely has the veteran status here, and he is now in the center of the ring with Albazi, who meets him in the middle. Red for Moreno, white for Albazi, just the trunks that they're wearing. All right, so seeing this right away, and just, I mean, I'm just being thrown into analyzing and commentating on this. And I noticed that Brandon Moreno's taking the center of the octagon, like really controlling it. That gets you points, that gets you credits. Everyone's stating, let's go, Brandon, for Brandon Moreno, a very popular phrase out in the world, right? Political phrase. Brandon Moreno's boxing's on point. I mean, he trains with Jorge Capetillo, who trains boxers. And it looks like Amir Albazi, formerly trained out of Fight Zone Stockholm, London Shoot Fighters, Extreme Couture Mixed Martial Arts, purple belt in Brazilian martial arts, but he's fighting out of Arizona, so I'm not sure if he trains with Winklejohn or. Yeah, that I must have. So let's look up exactly where that gym is because he's fighting out of Phoenix, right? Arizona. So he might not even fight with them. He might be with Extreme Couture. So Jackson Wink is the gym, and that is located. Oh, I'm thinking of different parts of the world. I thought, you know, yeah, it comes to me that it is in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where Diego Sanchez, the mixed martial artist, is from. I don't know. Arizona was just in my mind as that location. Phoenix, Arizona. Okay. All right. So he is training out of Couture's gym. But good to know. Good reminder. Just getting the demographics down here on my brain base, right? You have to be thrown into something, and those two places are close to each other. I'm very interested in this competition. I mean, two true martial artists. I see the front kicks from Albazi. I mean, it landed. Those front kicks, the spider kick that Anderson Silva landed. Um, who's competing against Conor McGregor? Michael Chandler delivered one of those front kicks to Tony Ferguson. When that happened with Silva, when Silva brought back the front kick with the Steven Seagal front kick, the what he calls the spider kick, and Lyoto Machida did the same thing, I believe, against Vitor. They both did it against Vitor Belfort, but Machida against Randy Couture, except his was the Karate Kid crane kick. I went back to the gym and I started to drill that. I would train with my coach, and he would say, "Okay, take 5, take a break right after sparring, after training," and I would be up there because all the walls were padded. We had teardrop bags and regular heavy bags, and I would train that kick over and over and over because it was just such a magical kick. And someone who comes from like my background, like father was a boxing world champion, so I have the striking game. My mom felt boxing was limited, so she convinced my dad to put me in taekwondo. As a family, they put me in taekwondo. Always having an interest for wrestling, and I had no idea about amateur wrestling, so it was more of an interest in professional wrestling. Just the slams, just the aggressiveness, and there are occasions when me and my acquaintances, schoolmates, we would go around. I would go to their house, and there was to be some kids that they knew, and they were all everyone was tough and all that, and they used to slap box and all that in the backyard. And I remember one time I pitched after doing that, like, because I had really good striking. I remember I was pitching to them, "Hey, if I win, we wrestle." They're like, "Wrestle?" And I was like, "Yeah, like like WWF, like WWE." And I was like, I see you have some cardboard boxes over there, and they had like a table. And I was like, let's make those into tables. And I remember like getting into it. Like I had the basics of wrestling, amateur wrestling, but my interest was always like the slams. I used to love slams and power drives and Pam, and we used to do that every now and then. Not much. I had to make a career of that, but it was just like when I couldn't get my aggression out in martial arts, right? I just couldn't when I had more energy, right? So it's a commercial break right now, and those are very common with the fight nights. So yeah, seeing these two martial artists compete, I'd like to see Alex Caceres compete against Moreno. Now that Moreno isn't the champion, Alex Caceres is far from the championship belt, but I do believe that Alex Caceres has potential. You know, Bruce Leroy, and I think their two styles would match up really, really good. Now, Amir Bazi has got himself into the picture here, and he might be an interesting competitor against someone like Caceres, right? So I just needed to confirm that that was the gym. All right, what's up? Just seven chillin'. Well, you can sub if you want, buddy. That's can you break it down? Oh, I'm breaking down the fights up here. So that long word that you wrote there, I mean I read it, but I really got to focus on what's going on over here. If you haven't, go check out the UFC. Go buy yourself the pay-per-view and check out the last match here. It's on ESPN Plus. Go sign up for ESPN Plus, and it's just a really good bout. You know, if you love martial arts. So, you know, Moreno, I view as just an overall martial artist. What I saw with him and Pantoja is that Pantoja was a lot more aggressive and a little technically fluid. I'm not saying that Brandon Moreno's not because it was a very close bout and competition. But what Brandon Moreno could really increase in is his grappling. He's a really good striker, right? He trains the boxing, but if he really wants to be a contender again, he has to match the grappling of other martial artists. And it surprises me personally that Albazi is not using his grappling at all thus far. He's striking with Moreno, and if you're gonna strike with Moreno, Moreno's very very creative. Brandon is one of the most creative boxer mixed martial artists. So with these two, you know, I'm able to see the growth in Moreno's game in his martial arts ability and I'm being introduced to Al-Bazi's mixed martial arts abilities. Moreno is ranked number two, while Bazi is ranked number three. The champion being Pantoja. And, you know, Pantoja being the champion, I mean, he had a really great speech that stood out to me. His speech was for parenting, where dads need to be present. And Albazi just took down Moreno, and that's what Albazi needs to do more often if he's going to win this. Anytime you take your opponent down, even if they get right back up, it's like landing a really good jab. The judges see that, and the impact that the jab has of it rocks you back like that. That is almost the same in the sense of the takedown. Like if you rock someone back, boom, there's that effect. If you take someone down, they get right back up. There's that effect, right? Their entire body goes back. They lean back, as Fat Joe says. And let's take a quick look here at what's happening in the Runescape. I'm multitasking. As you all hear, I'm feeling a lot better, right? My coughs aren't as my entire body doesn't cough now. And maybe it's a change of setting. Maybe it's because I went for a really good healthy hike today. Definitely fighting off infections. Definitely, I feel it. Healing mode. Got myself some juice. Any of you said bless you from anywhere around the world. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Alhamdulillah. And this is a stand-up bout so far with Moreno and Albanzi. A really good covering up from Moreno. I mean, he does this. He covers up really good here. You know, you want to keep Lucio. What a lot of martial artists tend to do is that they clinch. But if you cover up here, you're covering more space, right? Your palm is here, and it's when you release the punch that, and you're almost like to the opponent's head or body that you really like clench and throw that punch. Ah, I see that. Albazi's doing something similar, maybe doing a cat paw here, but he's more doing this. You know, he's moving around some bit. But Moreno did get him. I think was that an uppercut that he got him with. Moreno is a he leans his head forward, his body back. It gives him a little bit more range. Kicks from Albazi. If anything's gonna get through right now, I think it's gonna be Albazi's kicks. I see him throwing a lot of those front kicks, and Moreno having that boxer stance. You know, he's eating those away. Some of them are clipping him. Oh, look at that! Someone said if you're touching mobile, uh, it's touchscreen. No, I didn't know that you could play mobile on here. Very, very interesting. Very, very cool. Ooh, combinations from Moreno. And we're gonna go to round number three, everyone. So that is fascinating. We have Moreno and Albazi. You know, Albazi doesn't. He has a decent grappling, but I can tell that his base isn't wrestling. I mean, I might be wrong. It might be his foundation. It might be the first martial arts he got into, or maybe not. I would guess not. Let me do a little bit of research on Amir Albazi. A good kick from Moreno inside the thigh. Good jab from Moreno. They're showing the highlights right now going into round three. And a good roundhouse kick that really like hit the tempo of Albazi. Good 1-2, and then Albazi went for that takedown. Moreno got up right away from that. And what's his martial? So he's an Iraqi professional mixed martial artist. It's good. He's, you know, interesting representing Iraq, that part of the world. But what is the first martial arts or the longest martial arts he's been in? I think I read that he's a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Doesn't tell me much about wrestling. If he's at Randy Couture's gym, Extreme Couture, then you know they train wrestling there. Randy Couture is known for his wrestling, but doesn't tell me anything about his wrestling. Amir's first fight came in the World Ultimate Full Contact 15. He submitted Pablo Kulish in 59 seconds and subsequently went on an 8-bout win streak to start his MMA career before moving to Bellator. Bellator being the very next level. So not much about this martial artist, but if we're to base it on this bout, this competition, yeah, it looks like he favors striking. He does have a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. So, you know, some of my coaches who haven't even, I have some coaches who's trained in the UFC. I have some coaches who haven't competed in the UFC. So some of them who've competed in the UFC, some of them who haven't. And the ones that like who haven't, they even have their black belts. But again, you always have to question the black belt, right? That's where we're coming about nowadays. Everyone's questioning the black belts. I think Islam Makhachev and Habib say that they're white belts in jiu-jitsu. Yeah, they're one of the best grapplers in the world. That's because Sambo is in jiu-jitsu. While it has elements of jiu-jitsu, two very different things. All right, so breaking down this fight, Moreno and Albazi. Moreno has this type of almost like skeleton type of flow, um, where he's just like he does this thing. I don't know why I said skeleton. Maybe it's because he's you know, his body type. He's almost like very stringy almost, and that's just his fluidity. While Albazi is more, you know, he's in and out, but he's not as fluid as Moreno. He does throw hard punches and kicks. He just threw a knee right there, but he's more stiff. See that? And for some fighters that works. You know, one of my coaches, very stiff martial artist, like very, you know, and that works for him. Like he's able to throw those. You know, they call this the can punch. You gotta, you know, land it like this, or sometimes you land it like this. This is like holding a can, and it works. Like Vanderlei Silva had that type of style, where he's very uh. But some martial artists don't have that style. Like they're just very flow. So styles make fights. This is a mixed martial arts event, and it's a very creative process. Jab, 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 jab. Measuring the distance from Moreno. Terrific. All right, we have some Cyber Turista. By the way, who is winning? Very good question. Cyber Turista. I have to give it to, in the striking, who's controlling the octagon. Probably Brandon Moreno. Albazi does have a takedown on him. Moreno was able to stand up right away. So you never know with the judges. Right now, it's a horse apiece. I would say that Moreno is landing a lot of those punches that have an impact. So slightly Moreno, but you never know with the judges. Why not? Less fee. What do you mean? So let's see here. Moreno. I really this style right here, employing this to cover up. I mean, it's really something significant to his particular style. And now he's ramped it up. He's ramping it up, and he's moving forward. So Moreno's winning so far. He's the one who's putting the pressure on. I'm gonna take a quick look at the chat. Just follow the sparkly like yeah, that helps me a lot because I follow it and then I get back to breaking down this martial arts event that's happening here, the UFC. All right, welcome everyone to the channel where we are having a live UFC watch party and also on New School Runescape. There would be a lot more participation if I was on Old School Runescape, but as you all know, I do have a goal of getting this prayer level all the way up to 70. And after that, we'll go up to OSRS. This is one of the best events to increase your prayer points at the moment. The event lasts 3 more days, 2 more days. So if I can get as far here with the prayer points as possible, then I'll go back to OSRS and build my avatar there, right? So let's take a look at who has the best names here on RuneScape on R3. All right, let's see who is in Albazi's gym or his corner. Okay, so is Jorge Capetillo cornering Moreno? And he's one of the best. I mean, one of the most pronounced boxing coaches, and he really brings a style of boxing that is unique. That's where Anthony Pettis trains his boxing. That's where Jorge Masvidal trains his boxing. That's where Canelo Alvarez visits, and Brandon Moreno trains his boxing. All right, so the best names on here. Nagant, maybe not Loaf Main. Okay, let's see who else was on here. Claymaster, Dekov, Batris. Any other cool names? Loaf Main moved over there, and over here we have Frosty, Imani, Verunkus. Who's that? Who just ran over? Batris running back and forth. Oh yeah, chasing the sparkly thing. And Han Solo, Shammy. Oh, Koala. Koala gets the best name award on stream. Terrific. Now, let's see if anyone takes that. Koala, though, gets the best name so far. Now, the controls on this one and OSRS are different, so. Strange Lovin'. Okay, Strange Lovin'. Interesting. Butch Beard Nagant. And with that, I haven't come across any other names that. Oh, okay. Aurora the All God. The All God has a cool name too. Back to Albazi and Moreno. Looks like we are now in round number 4, so one more round now. The reason that this is a 5-rounder, because it's not for the belt, right? It can't be. It can't be for the interim belt. As far as I've heard, Pantoja hasn't pulled out of any fights. A flyweight main event, because it's the main event, so that's why it's a 5-rounder, which puts these two martial artists, Moreno and Albazi, into the contention picture. Whoever wins will probably get an opportunity, a shot to compete against Pantoja for the championship. Sturkenberg, Butchbeard. Okay, koala's there. Red Milido, Lintz, Lady Celessa. See who else we have on here with these awesome names. There is Stealth. Prayer level just went up to 65. Martial artists are there competing. And the crowd is Moreno, Brandon. So it looks like rooting for Brandon Moreno. And someone characterized it perfectly. It said, just follow the sparkly light. I'm going to give them a shout out here because that's what I'm doing. Han Solo. Alright, so this is the very last round here. So far it is Brandon Moreno who's pushing the pace. But it is very, very close. They all have a KO chance. So let's see what happens here in the 5th round. And our prayer level went up to 65. Oof. Looks like Moreno's eye got poked. The referee is stopping it. Those eye pokes are the worst. Yeah, good news though. I'm almost maybe I'm about 70%, 75% healed up. Just past week and month has been nothing but like 20%, 15%, 30%, slowly getting my health back. Good combinations from Moreno there against Albazi. Horse and piece though. Takedown from Albazi. Moreno got back up. It wasn't much of a takedown, but it looks like Moreno got a good combination in, and that really significantly hurt Albazi, who was backing up. Yeah, Brandon Moreno has more octagon control. Albazi's still in the game though. This may go the distance. 2 more minutes. And there's about 1 more minute and 50 seconds between Moreno and Albazi. Roundhouse and misses from Moreno. Yeah, with these fight nights, having a former champion or a number 2 ranked versus number 3 ranked is decent. I think that these should have a championship bout, right? But I guess they save those for the official UFCs, like the numbered UFCs, not the fight nights. One more minute. Both of these martial artists going back and forth. Moreno Kakaki, he had his hand down for just a moment, but he's taking the bout seriously. 30 more seconds, and Moreno's saying, "Hey, that's all you got." Throwing combinations, but he's got to be careful. You go all out, wild style at the end of it. You know what happened to Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje, and then Moreno's throwing very creative kicks. He just flung himself across the cage, did a rolling kick. He's just very creative, raising his hands up like he won it, and friendly competition between these two martial artists. Let's see who won. I think Brandon Moreno. But you never know what the judge is. My dog just walked in the room. Like, all right, so the official scorecard. My phone is at 5%. When should I charge it? When should I make that effort and grab the charger and charge it? 5 rounds going to the judge's scorecard here. 49, 46. 50, 45. 50, 45. I think Moreno won that. Yep, Brandon Moreno. Now let's see who he calls out. If he calls out anyone. And what his call-out message is going to be. Because Pantoja has one of the best speeches when he won the bout. He said, "This is for you, Dad." And just, giving shout out to his mom and the importance of being a present dad. A dad being one of the most important pieces in a child's life. Both biological mom and dad. And he said, "Feliz Día de los Muertos." Day of the Dead allá, Latin America. Celebrate that too here, North America. Oh, they're competing in Canada today. So any of you from Canada? Pretty much ends in a post-fight speech that he's a striker, loves throwing punches. Because he's Mexican. DC's asking him, what do you want next? I say he just wants to eat. Wants his title back. And I heard Pat Barry in Rose Namajuna's corner because I did catch a little bit of that. Just didn't go live here until recently. And he had told her that he just wants, like, pretty much like punches and bunches. And Blanchfield was able to capitalize on that and use her grappling against Rose Namajunas. I think if Rose Namajunas would have been in and out and utilized her grappling, then she would have had a lot more success. Because it did go up to the judges, I believe, right? Whether a submission or KO. Yeah, so I didn't agree with that. Uh, But that's how that cookie crumbles. All right. With that being said, let's turn on some Runescape music. Thank you, Han Solo, for saying, hey, I want to listen to RS music. And I have it on mute, so let's turn it on. Good reminder, RuneScape has, one of the best orchestras, one of the best musics, one of the best, a bunch of compilation of songs. And I had it off now because, as you all know, going live and streaming, navigating the voice microphone along with any background songs or music, still calibrating, like, what's the perfect amount of balance? How loud should the song be? How much to enunciate? I want to make sure you all hear me clearly. But this song right here is very, very good. It sounds good, and I don't think it's overpowering the voice, my voice. So listening to this song here, that's what RuneScape is really known for. A lot of its orchestra and music. It's just very classical music and uplifting. It's very serene and tranquil. It could be very yeah, animated. It really depends on the song that RuneScape provides as well. But most of the songs tend to just instill a lot of feelings and emotions. Very good. RuneScape is known. It's one of their best attributes for their music. And with that, I think we have enough to go up to eat here. Yeah, this is Han Solo. Oh, this is Amazing Prayer XP Holy. Yep. This is the area for that. Right. Hmm. Oh yeah. I'm trying to figure out a way of how to charge my phone because have you ever encountered having a like updating your phone or hardware, either it be your computer, your phone, and the charger that you used last time doesn't fit? So I know I have a regular charger there, but the hardware here isn't USB. I believe it's USB-C. So the charger that I have there, and for some reason or another, the charging port, the USB charging port on my station right there on my table doesn't work. And I don't know why it doesn't work because every other plug on it works. I have to figure that one out. So any of you programmers or um, computer engineers or architects or engineers in general, technology engineers, let me know. Why would a USB port connected to a regular 3 outlet port not work, even though the 3 outlet port works? It's getting juice, it's getting electricity. So I believe that I may have a charger right there. If I remember correctly, I do. Let's verify that. Let's verify that we have a charger, everyone. Let's check. Let's take a look here. Now, moment of truth. I am unboxing my workout bag, which is also my professional bag, and verifying if I have a charger for my phone. That is now. Before I said it was 5%. Like, when do you start to worry about if your phone has enough juice? Or do you worry? I don't worry. I just like to have executive control, if you know what I mean. What am I unboxing? Subscribe, and I'll show you. You reach out to me and say, "Hey, do that unboxing of this thing that's in here." Aren't these awesome? Yeah, you probably subscribed. If you haven't, I believe in the honor code. Look at that. These are my favorite pins. Genius Power, and has the scientific definitions of the table of all those chemicals and elements, the elemental table of elements. So I have a USB charger with me. Awesome. Now, something that came up today, as you all know, I do have a podcast where I talk about these things. But if you're joining today on the stream, which is the educational gaming stream, I'm going to give you a preview on something that we're going to start to talk about a little bit more as we start to find out who wins the election And this is a sneak preview. So I'm gonna let everyone here know. I'm not coughing like to cough. I'm coughing because it itches and it feels good. It's like it almost it's like scratching the itch. So, oh look, it's a shortcut. How do you get a shortcut? Walugi, very cool name. So the sneak peek that I'm gonna share with you all here on God Tender Love and Care is a talking point. And I'll share that talking point later on here on the podcast. If we can bring, let's add 10 more. Let's just say 10 more subscribers here. So a lot of you here are on the chat. Thank you so much if you're participating on Twitch, YouTube, or any other streaming device. I do want to talk to you about something, give you a sneak peek, but let's get 10 subscribers. All those subscribers go to my email. It tells me, hey, subscription here, subscription there. So if I see 10 notifications, I will start to talk about the sneak peek to the podcast, which is very, very important. It's something that I wouldn't normally share on this educational gameplay stream, but it has to do with the elections that are coming up. So as soon as I see the notifications pop up, I'll start the conversation on that. I'm going to write myself a note right here so I won't forget that. 10 subscriptions equals talk about the secret topic that will be on one of our next podcasts. So I just wrote myself to know, and I really want to share that with you all. It's something that I talked about today in public. Well, in a private setting among people close to my circle, and I want to share with you all. So we need 10 more subscriptions. Let your friends know for a sneak peek at... Here, I'm going to make this comfortable. I really like this pillow right here. I like this one. See if it... Yeah, that's good. In case you want to hit your head back, right? So 10 more subscriptions equals... secret talking point. So that was a really good UFC, right? Awesome. ESPN would provide us that. Shout out to Linda Likes Tarot. Welcome to the chat. Medicine. Dry. Can't wait to be over the cough, as we'll call it for now. 65, 70%. Decent. Ish. Shout out to Waleed World. Interesting, interesting. So just getting ahead on some work right there. The music is so great. You can just really be focused and in the zone. But I asked a question about OSRS or RS3, and everyone's stating here, everyone, obviously, we're on RS3, that they all prefer RS3 over OSRS. Some of them saying, in my opinion, OSRS had its time. For me, that's over now. Someone else said, tried OSRS, told myself I didn't want to grind a new account. Still ended up doing it on RS3, laughing out loud, and combat. So RS3 all day. Just some perspective, right? Because here on Educational Gaming, got TLC Educational Gaming, we want to figure out, well, what are the best games and why? As you know, the biggest competitor for RS3 is OSRS. So we found out a lot of answers. And we have just reached level 66 in prayer. 4 more levels to go, everyone, and we will have reached our goal of level 70. Shout out to Shorty. Shout out to Solum Soul. Alright, everyone. So, we just got through the UFC event. All the martial artists are at the post-fight press conference. Congratulations to Brandon Moreno. I know putting in all that work. It shows in the boxing. Shout out to Blank Shit. Bankage. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I gotta look it up really quick. She competed against Rose Namajunas. And I can pronounce Rose Namajunas because she is actually one of my teammates. We've trained together, same gyms, and now she is training out of Colorado. Erin Blanchfield. So I just had to read her name to know it. Blanchfield. Interesting last name, right? Very, very interesting. Shout out to John Doe. I'm Shorty from Runescape. What's up, John Doe? Awesome, awesome. Welcome, welcome to the show. John Bing Bang Doe. Glad to have you here on the channel. We are live on Twitch. We are live on YouTube. Bing Bong. Yeah, yeah, it's catchy. Man, everyone here has very unique names. Right here we have Love a Trophy. Look at that. What a name. How do you come up with that? Love a Trophy. That's one of the coolest names I've read on here. Love a Trophy. Then there's Lady Grimm. All the way over there. Internal Day. Wow, everyone takes their time, creates some interesting names. Goated. The Brave, Nova, The Life and Soul, Feisch, Zent, Ziza, Averunkus, Steak Master, Mizushima. Interesting names. We only need 4 more, right? Until level 70. Now, what are the perks of level 70? Like, why is this my goal? To reach a level 70 prayer? Because anything here, 65, maybe even 66, can't really do anything with. But level 70, ability to bless somebody else's gravestone. That's a good fact. That's awesome. I would like those powers. Thank you very much. Go around blessing gravestones. Yeah, let's do it. Alright, so my avatar should be good, right? My dogs. I got my dogs. Gotta let them out. So I will be right back, everyone. One moment. I will see you all momentarily. Welcome everyone, got Tender Love and Care. I am God TLC and we are back. So we're training our dogs. We let them run around an entire estate. And they usually alert us when there are things around going on, deer, people, other animals, etc. They love running around. One of our dogs, rescued from a reservation, came to us with a very bad hip and waist problem. She must have gotten run over. That was the story. She got run over, and we've been building her up slowly but surely. She gets to run around. She's top heavy. She's strong. Her legs are getting stronger. So it's what it's all about. It's about being at your best, and she's doing good. Her name is Lexi. Yeah, people really do have some wild names on RuneScape. John Doe, Shorty, Chef, Speed, Chief. Look at that. Now, what a name is that? Very cool, very cool. Yeah, so we got the dogs running around the estate, and that one dog that got rescued, she loves being outside. She loves being free. Like if she could be outside all day, every day, she would be. She runs around. She's like very vigilant. She's our dog where she's usually off somewhere, exploring the land, and then we call her, right, and she comes back like immediately. She just gallops like a horse. Love that about her. Now, one time we had a strange dog come on our property, and we've got like a bunch of different sized dogs. We got little dogs, medium sized dogs. The Cheap is probably one of our big dogs, but she's a thin, big dog. Um, she's not the biggest dog, but she protected the younger dogs. We had like a random dog show up on our property, and if the little dogs would have been by themselves, I mean, I don't know if they could defend themselves. Like they're protective, but she, being a bigger dog, she used her I don't know what this was. She like ran around the dog and was like just doing her thing, and the other dog ended up scurrying off back to their property. But I viewed that she protected the other dogs. You know, she's very fast. She definitely a protector. She reminds me of she reminds me of something specific. Tip of my tongue. What she reminds me of. I'd have to share it in a moment. She's like it's tip of my tongue. What she reminds me of. Yeah, you know Pokemon. You know that Ponyta, the Pokemon Ponyta. She kind of reminds me of Ponyta, the fire horse. I guess she just reminds me of a horse. She's like framed like a horse. And she's an interesting dog too. Still trying to figure out what kind of dog she is. But I think she's like of the same family as that Bluey cartoon, the Healers, those Australian Healers. She's like something along those lines. She has that she has that on her paperwork. She's the type of dog where you would hide treats around the house, let her run around the house, hide the treats, and she'd be first of the line. Like, you don't even have to point. She is always somewhere in the house, like while the other dogs stay close to the like front door, side door, and every now and then they venture off and come back. She's the type of dog that she's always somewhere exploring something, digging something up. Scooby Doo. Think of Scooby Doo. She is like very Scooby Doo ish. Doberman, as in like a Doberman pincer. Let me check out what kind of Dobermans there are, because I know when you mention like terriers, there's like so many types of terriers. So, but I do know of a Doberman pincer. I think that I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Yeah, okay, Doberman. So where does a pincer come? There we go, Doberman pincer. Yep. Yeah, she's kind of. Yeah, I've seen Doberman pincer. She's not a Doberman pincer. We have another dog that's more Doberman pincer like. Brindo Doberman pincer. But yeah, she definitely has the frame. Like I'm looking at a video right here on Dogster. If you type in Doberman on Google, go to images. There's this Doberman versus Rottweiler, and it shows two pictures of two dogs. And the Doberman is definitely her body type. She's thin like that, but very muscularly. Like she's not a mesomorph like a Rottweiler. And she's not an ectomorph either. She's like endomorph, like in between. Yeah, definitely has that body with the strong chest of a Doberman. Those dogs are fascinating, but what's up with the tail? Do do people cut their tails off on those Dobermans, or are they born like that? See, I see a picture here on Articles Factory, and it's showing me a Doberman with a tail, and then there's American Kennel Club, and it's showing like this, like a tail was cut off or something. Wow, that's so strange. Man, I'm glad you brought up Dobermans because I've seen that and I've heard that they cut off dogs' tails, but what is that about? I don't understand. Why would you cut off a dog's tails? Like, I don't know, cutting off part of their body for what reason? Does it get infected? And how would a tail get infected? And again, I'm not a professional. I'm not a vet, even though I love animals and saving them and rescuing and getting to know all about them, walking them. Um, but when it comes to what's up with the tails, I got to look that up. That's just a very strange practice. Like I'd get it if it was medical reasons, but a tail getting infected, I just before I even say any more about the tail situation on the Dobermans, I'm gonna have to look that up. So I find that strange to cut off a body part of an animal. It's not like shearing them either. Let's take a look at Doberman. Why? Oh wow, why do they crop ears? So why dock the tail? Seems like a lot of surgery, docked versus undocked. Yeah, maybe there are benefits. I personally wouldn't do that. There's a video here on YouTube. Be press on this person's video. It is uploaded by a content creator known as Doberman Planet. Doberman pincer, tail docking, why, when, and how much. Alright, let's read the description here. Mute the ads. One of the first decisions you'll need to make as a new Doberman owner is if you're going to have your Doberman's tail docked, also known as bobbed. First, you should know why Dobermans have their tails docked, how the tail docking procedure is performed, if docking is legal where you live, at what age it's done, how much it usually costs. This is something that should always be performed by a qualified veterinarian with experience in this practice. One moment here. Where's that little orb? Increasing these per points to 70 is the go. Tail docking is usually done when the dog is between 1 to 7 days of age, although earlier is better. It's performed under either surgically with a scalpel or scissors or via a ligature or a small rubber band wrapped around the tail to cut off circulation. Tail docking typically costs between $20 to $40, so the same amount as getting your ears pierced, essentially. But it's like they're not cutting off a piece of your ear. Or 500 to 900 for an adult Doberman. Make sure you communicate with the vet, the breeder. All right. Let's take a quick read on this. Okay. Yes, I haven't found a reason for why to cut off. I still have not found a reason on why to dock or cut off a dog's tail or shorten a dog's tail. Yeah, I'm still looking it up. Let's see. Where's a little orb? Right over there. All right. Fascinating, right? Oh, okay. I see you. Your chats weren't showing up a little while ago. Oh, okay. Just for aesthetics. Oh, okay. Yeah, I personally wouldn't do it, but I'd have to educate myself on that. Just for aesthetics, I guess it doesn't make sense to me, but just for aesthetics. Okay. It's a shock. I'm shocked. I'm like really shocked right now. I had never known that before. Now I'm looking at an image. Bad tail docking. I shouldn't look at that. Okay. Wow. Taken aback by that. Docked versus undocked Dobermans. What's interesting today, saw this dog, and I thought it was a type of Rottweiler well, actually, at first I thought it was a Cane Corso. But then as the dog got closer and closer and closer, it's a huge, massive dog. I saw it. I was like, oh, that's not a Cane Corso. That's a Rottweiler. Like, well, I know that Cane Corsos. For me, I view Cane Corsos as like just bigger pit bulls, and I know they're different, completely different. But this dog from afar looked like a Rottweiler, and. One moment. Let me head over to the Sparkle right over there. Yeah, and then I haven't seen those dogs, a Rottweiler, in a long time. And I'm looking right now on Google Images on Rottweiler versus King Corso, just an image. And they kind of look alike. No wonder I thought the dog from afar was a King Corso. Like, I rarely see King Corsos. And seeing the King Corso today, I was like, whoa! Because the person walking it, like, she looked tiny next to this dog. So I thought it must be a King Corso, but it was a Rottweiler next to just like a tiny person, like not a tiny person, but yeah, she wasn't like big in stature. And I know anyone next to a King Corso, like the dogs they're beefy, big dogs. Like they're gonna make anyone look like not as big, just because those dogs are humongous. So cane corsos are fascinating because if you go to the humane societies or the rescue centers, I rarely see those. Rarely see cane corsos at the safety, at the dog shelters. Dogs that I mostly see of, you get a lot of pit bulls. I definitely see a lot of pit bulls. I tend to notice a lot of older dogs that haven't been adopted at the safety centers for animals. Rarely see those huge cane corsos. Yeah, they can grow pretty big, up to, I mean, not as big as well, it really depends. But what's that huge type of dog? The Saint Bernard. Saint Bernard. I know that those are massive. Yeah, look at that. You look up the Saint Bernard. They are massive. Cane corsos are big too. Like I don't have an impression that cane corsos are small, but Google Images is telling me that they're not like as big as I think they are. Um, I know. Okay, I see here. Very big size. So there's one YouTube video that states that yeah, they're very big size dogs. Now, what's the biggest type of dog breed that exists? I don't know. I thought it was Saint Bernard, but I can be wrong. Take a look. Oh wow, never heard of cane corsos? Yeah, they're beautiful animals. They do look a lot alike. Yeah, they're really like mini horses, exactly. Thought the same thing. I saw one of those at a work site. The neighbor had a cane corso in the backyard, and my first impression was like, "Yo, is that a pony? Is that a horse?" Irish wolfhounds. All right, let's take a look at those Irish wolfhounds. Yeah, wow. The first image I see on here, Westover Wolf House. The dog is bigger than the person. I mean, it might be Photoshop, but yeah, it definitely looks like a massive type of dog. That's a giant. That's like the giant, the Big Show. That's a big dog. Wow. I've never seen one of those in person. And of course, someone's gonna do that. There's a website called Bored Panda where they put one of those little European cars. You know the ones that they drive. Mr. Bean drives them around next to the dog, and the dog pretty much is like the size of the car. WWE throwback. Yeah, I definitely want to get. I do a podcast, and I definitely want to get some of them on the show. Um, I remember the first time that the Giant. I remember him from WCW, but the first time, if I remember correctly, the Big Show, before he was the Big Show, he was just the Giant. He went. There was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think having some problems with Vince McMahon, like always, and Vince McMahon came out with the Big Show, who was then the Giant, and I remember seeing that live and thinking, like, okay, what's gonna happen? And he manhandled Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like they gave him a bump. The Giant got a big bump because Stone Cold at the time was like the champion. He had his own Stone Cold bout. Him and The Rock had the feuds, and all of a sudden here comes the Giant from WCW, and completely like rag dolls. Stone Cold. Steve is huge. Yeah, he's doing some good things now. I definitely want to. He has a podcast. He probably won't go on. He's when people have their own podcast, they want to bring you on, and then when they don't, like the Giant doesn't have a podcast, they're more likely to go on your podcast. And he's doing some good things, Steve Austin. He's training a lot of the martial artists. Like he trained Chael. I don't know, you know Chael Sonnen. He trained Chael Sonnen. He became his like strength and conditioning coach. So he does the wrestling stuff, but he's on the side. He's like training people how how to just be athletes, right? And a lot of them too are transitioning into acting and all that. Again, him. I read his book, and he's also big into dogs. He said he has an RV for when the movies call him in California. Hey, he gets the dogs in the RV, and if he can't make a movie with his dogs coming with him, then he's not going to be part of the movie. The reason he in the book he doesn't fly, doesn't take airplanes, is because it's a hassle to bring your dog with you on an airplane. So when I read that, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Another, a dog guy, Steve Austin. That's respectable, right? I'm surprised we've never seen him like bring out some dogs with him because the WWE, the WWF, they do everything. They brought him out on the four wheeler, but I think they could have had a really good pitch bringing Stone Cold because he's so fat, like he's so immersed in the dogs that if Hollywood calls him, then the movie better be somewhere he can take his dogs, whether that be Canada, California, East Coast, get in the RV, get the dogs in, and here another dog guy. So this dog right here that I'm looking up, Irish Wolfhound. Wow, taking a look at here, looks like the height is over 30 inches, which is about what almost four rulers. Okay, yeah, calm dogs. They look like calm dogs. Oh, wow, and they're showing one of those dogs next to a puppy, just for price comparison, size comparison. Irish Wolfhound. Okay, Cane Corso. And even though those are the biggest dogs, and they're described as calm, well, not the King Corso, but the Irish Wolfhound, completely opposite to the Chihuahua. I mean, if you want a guard dog, a dog that is going to parole your house, up, down the stairs, every single floor, get yourself a Chihuahua. They might not be the dogs that are going to jump on someone, but they will nip at their feet. Like I was in a friend's house, and they had a music studio, and they let the dog run their entire house because you will get people knocking at the music studio, right? Oh, can I book a session? Can I get a session? And things like that. And the Chihuahuas were pretty much the alarm. And then when the Chihuahua did not like someone, they would not stop. They would not resist. They would completely go after and nip at the toes, the knees, the ankles. Yeah, so those Chihuahuas are definitely spark plugs. I'm looking up the biggest sized dogs here, and just to see how the world ranks the biggest. Oh, okay, a Mastiff. Now that sounds familiar. Neapolitan Mastiff. Why does Mastiff sound familiar? English. Oh, okay, yeah, I know that one. That's why it sounds familiar. Cane Corso. Mastiffs have historically been guard dogs. English Mastiff. Oh, how can I forget about that one? How could I ever forget about the Great Dane? Wow. Because I haven't seen the dog in a long time. Yeah, I know these. The Great Danes. I have not seen a Great Dane in a long time. Those do not go into the rescue shelters a lot. I think if someone finds one of those dogs lost, uh, I, I don't know. I've never seen one of those at the rescue centers at all. But you tend to get a lot of pit bulls, poodles, um, terriers. Now raise the prayer level. What are we at? 66 now? Four more levels until 70. Be able to bless someone else's grave. All right, got the Great Dane. Oh, wow, for real? Great Dane is what Scooby-Doo is. This is the other time where I was driving and I saw this wild dog running through the street. And I'm not scared of dogs. I've never been attacked by a dog. On the opposite, I've been protected by dogs. Um, and like even so, like when my friends and I would like go for a walk, sometimes the neighbors have had dogs out in their yard, fenced in yard, but you can still see the dog through the chain link fence or iron fence. And the dog's been bark, bark, bark. And then the dogs have usually like really never barked at me. So they sense energy like really well. Like I know the dogs can tell if someone is scared. I had a friend who, would I say they were a cat person? They were a cat person, and they themselves they didn't want to admit it to us, but they didn't like dogs. And I think they said it once, and we were like, "What? You don't like dogs?" And then they've never mentioned it again. And there was this dog named Pinto Beans who was this I don't know what Pinto Beans was. He reminds me of Scooby Doo, so he might have been some type of um, Great Dane of some sort. And Pinto Bean would always try going after him. He didn't go after anyone else. He could have been a stranger. If you didn't fear the dog, nothing. But if he smelled fear on you, he would go after you. So the Great Dane, I think you're right. It does look like a Scooby Doo. Scoobert. Scooby Doo. And I didn't even know that Scooby Doo's name was Scoobert. I'm looking him up here on the website, and it says Scoobert goes by Scooby Doo. Protagonist in the television franchise created in 1967. Scooby Doo spans a long time. Big update on Scooby Doo, the Great Dane. Yep, Scooby Doo is a Great Dane for sure. Now, there's this comedian who I think her name is Jenny Lorenzo. And she's a comedian from Florida. And she did a skit. She did like a Scooby Doo reenactment where she made all the characters Latino, and they made Scooby Doo this type of I don't know, type of Chihuahua, and they gave him a very sassy personality. You should check that out. It's all in English, but they based this in Florida where they have a large Latino population. And then instead of having a Great Dane, they put a like a, was it a Chihuahua? Is that the dog that they associate with Latinos or something like that? Let me take a look at it. I'm not sure what kind of dog they used for that show. Um, but then there's also that movie with Ice Cube, Friday, and they used that other dog, that Target dog. Target has a dog that they use, Target dog. And what kind of dog is that with the spot? Bullseye, they call it. Bullseye is a bull terrier and is the official mascot of Target. There we go. In that movie, they gave the Latinos the bull terrier as like their guard dog. And his bull terrier, wow, yeah, look at that. Now those are very interesting dogs. They're like a pit bull. They got the muscle of a pit bull. I've seen some very buff Chihuahuas too, but that bull terrier, never seen a dog like it before. And they're juxtaposing it to a Staffordshire bull terrier. I know those. We seen those at the rescue centers, but I've never seen a bull terrier before. Wow, what an what an animal! Look at that. Just never seen that. Like the face, the shape that it has. Yeah, that's why. Okay, yep, yep. Yeah, a lot of people use dogs like to promote their businesses and all that. I like that when they give dogs characters. As long as they treat them right and they pay them and pay the family that saved the dog as well. But look at this, a bull terrier. Yeah, I've never owned a bull terrier. We have had a Staffordshire terrier. Beautiful protective animals. And then what's that movie called? The Little Rascals. They had a dog in that movie too. What kind of dog is that one? I don't want to say pit bull because it's probably it kind of looks like a pit bull, like a blue nose or maybe a red nose or hybrid. Pete the Pup is the dog from the Little Rascals. There we go. There's Pete the Pup. Is a game-bred American Pit Bull Terrier. Oh yeah, look at that. Pete the Pup. Famous animals, famous dogs of the world. So we got Pete the Pup here. Looks like a little shark. Yeah, there you go. I didn't like it. Looked like something familiar. Definitely, I can definitely see shark. It's a perfect way to describe it. Now this game bred American Pit Bull Terrier. Oh, okay. So they chose a Pit Bull for the Little Rascals. Awesome. Good to know. So mentioned Scooby Doo, another famous dog, and then there's a Taco Bell dog that they made into. There we go. That one was the funny one. The Taco Bell dog, a little Chihuahua. Yep. Any other famous dogs around? Lassie, can't forget about Lassie. They made an entire series on Lassie the dog. Wow, Lassie. What kind of dog is that? Oh, Lassie is a rough collie dog. Famous dogs around the world. Rough collie. Look at it, Lassie. Got the long hair. Yeah, I'm looking at Lassie here. Yeah, they got long hair. What kind of other dogs have been like just famous throughout the years? Scooby-Doo being the biggest one. Kids know about Scooby-Doo. German Shepherd being one of the official dogs for police training. Any other ones here? Borzoi, Samoyed, Labrador Retriever, Beagle. I feel like a Beagle was in a movie, but I'm not sure what movie the Beagle. Oh, Underdog, Shiloh. That's the movie. I remember Shiloh. I don't remember what the movie was about, but I remember seeing the cover. Oh, the poodle. Shiba Inu. Let me take a look at what that is. Yeah, the meme. I know this one from a meme of some sort. We have one of those. They're the meme dogs. Yeah, I remember. I definitely know that one from the meme. Shiba Inu meme. Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at that. That dog, this year, I didn't know that. The dog passed away. The New Yorker reports that Shiba Inu behind the meme, as of this year, man, yeah. So when was the dog born? Wow, I didn't know that. The dog was born in 2005 and passed away in 2024. Oh, yeah. Uh, Crazy this year. Speaking about Shiba, right? This year. We might as well just put famous dogs. Mentioned some of these already. Some of these famous dogs. So where's that Sparkle? Right over there. When we type in famous dogs here, we mentioned Scooby-Doo already. Like real dogs, because they're mentioning 101 Dalmatians, and unless I think they made a movie on that, but none of the dogs stand out there. Laika, haven't heard of it. Rin Tin Tin, haven't heard of that. Beethoven, I've seen and heard about. Balto, yeah, back in the day, Balto. See who else is like that lion that roars in almost every single movie. The best dogs from TV and movies. How could I forget? Now I'm trying to think of the name. There we go, Wishbone. I remember that. That was such an impactful show. Wishbone, the detective. That was such a good show. Such a good dog too. Uh, It's a Jack Russell Terrier. Oh, and one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah, I say that about a bunch of good movies, classics. But the movie with Frankie Muniz, Skip. If you haven't seen the movie Skip, I mean, you're gonna have to probably type Skip Dog or My Dog Skip is what it's called. My Dog Skip. That movie, I mean, it will change your life. That movie's transformational. It shows you how loyal dogs are, how protective they are. They have their own personalities, and it's about a book. I'm not gonna spoil it. It's Frankie Muniz is in it, and it's just an amazing, amazing family movie. I mean, you can watch it ASAP. Popcorn. I mean, that is a really great movie. My Dog Skip. And something I appreciate that Frankie Muniz, because he was someone who has an interesting story, right? He started off in Hollywood making movies early, but he hasn't always been like the star. Like he got his breakthrough in some shows, maybe a handful. And he said, yeah, my mom was my manager, and she pretty much controlled all the money. And she said, hey, what do you want to do? And I said, well, mom, what can we do as a family? And I saw his documentary. I read his book, and he said, with all this money that we're making these shows, can we like what do we do? Invest it? And his mom, who was his manager at the time, driving him left, driving him right before he was actually the star, Frankie Muniz, said, well, I hear that real estate is something to invest in. And he said, okay, mom, let's buy some houses. And he, as a family, bought some houses with his mom. And then he said, mom, what else can we do with all this money? And she said, well, they're selling the parking lot. And he was like, oh, let's buy the parking lot. You know, when you have the downtown parking lots. And they ended up buying and investing into parking lots where you would like pay, I don't know, $10 a day and park here all day, pay $5 for a few hours, like those lots. So I found it fascinating. He didn't splurge on his money on things that are considered liabilities, invested it all into assets, things that are going to make you more money, keep growing and growing. So, I mean, that's very respectful. And for a young man, to not say, Mom, this is mine, give it to me. And no, he said, hey, Mom, how can we work together? Brilliant. Whether that be with mom, dad, someone, a confidant, right? So My Dog Skip is a good movie. And Heartbreaking. Yeah, it's a tough movie. It's. I remember having that impression. Um, it was a good movie. Like it had its moments where Skip would, you know, bonding with Skip. But yeah, it was a tough movie. Yeah, what happens, the fights, and from what I remember, yeah, it was definitely an emotional roller coaster. Now that one I thought about because I saw Wishbone there. I know Wishbone, Chance and Shadow from a movie titled Homeward Bound. So Homeward Bound, I haven't seen the movie, so doing a little bit of media studies right now. I have not seen that movie. Definitely worth looking into. Dalmatians, the cartoon. Oh, okay, Frank. So the dog from Men in Black, his name is Frank, and that one is a pug, I believe. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's number one on the Chance and Shadow. Homeward Bound is on number one on the list here. Yeah, definitely check that out. It says it's on Disney Plus. Okay, might be on Roku. Frank's a G. I vaguely remember Frank. Yeah, definitely a G. See, Lassie's on here. The dog from The Mask. His name is Milo. Some more cartoons. Some more cartoons. Pluto. Sirius Black, aka Padfoot, aka Snuffles, Harry Potter. Okay. I don't know if that's a real dog or not. Showing me a picture of a dog. It might be animated. Toto from The Wizard of Oz. And I don't know if I've seen that version. Toto. Jack the Artist. Okay, they're showing me some more cartoons. Snoopy from Charlie Brown. Oh, Buddy. That's a real dog. Buddy from Air Bud. That's a classic. My impression of that one is it's a good movie, from what I remember. And Bruiser. Oh, I remember Bruiser from Legally Blonde. And what's her name again? She's a good actress. She becomes a lawyer, like a very important lawyer, Legally Blonde. I don't remember her name. I'd have to look it up. Legally Blonde. What's her name? Elle Woods? That's the character. Reese Witherspoon. There we go. With a name like that, how can I forget? That's an awesome name. Reese Witherspoon. And her dog, I remember her carried her dog with her everywhere, and that one is Bruiser. Beethoven. Hercules from the Sandlot. Oh, that's a classic. They made Hercules look like he was a beast. Jennifer Coolidge is in there too. She's funny. I have to look up Jennifer Coolidge. I don't recall. I mean, I think I can put a face to that name. If I remember correctly. Coolidge. Yeah, never. Okay, I know who she is now. I've seen her before. Hercules and Sandlot. Wilson the boxer from Good Boy. Fly, the dog from the movie Babe. Comet from Full House. Benji. Well, speaking about dogs and all these movies and media studies, right? There is a book, and I don't often suggest books because books are a hit or miss for everyone, but I do read a lot of books, right? And movies are great, they're amazing, but there's this book that I think everyone should read, and it's actually the character is a dog, and I haven't read this book in a few years. I should probably read it again. It's I'm gonna type in what's the book called? I mean, I have it in my library. I mean, this is gonna take me a bit. It's the tip of my tongue. I haven't read it in a while, but marathon. I have to type the description in here. I can tell you what the book's about, but I don't want to spoil it. I just can't. There we go. That's the book's name. So there's an amazing book titled Finding Gobi. Like you're looking for someone finding, and then Gobi would be Gobi. That book will take you on a roller coaster. I haven't seen a book do that. Sort of like what movies do. And Finding Gobi is, I mean, it's like you read this book, you'll feel like the details are all there. The author does a great job. It's a real story. So if you're into like real stories, what's going on around the world, this actually happened. And I mean, it's just an overall very wholesome book. The main star is Gobi, and Gobi barely, I mean, barely becomes the main star. Just this, everyone's going on a run. I don't want to ruin it. It's about jogging, running abroad, and all of a sudden, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Check out Finding Gobi. I don't want to spoil it because there are so many roller coasters in that book, emotional roller coasters and details that to know that this story actually happened. Like it's one of those stories where it's like it makes you believe in miracles just a little bit more than you probably did. And it's just overall a good book. Anyone can read a book. It's an easy to read book. You'll probably get if you pick it up, library or even check it out online, ebook or something like that. And you dedicate yourself, like here, Runescape, you'll probably finish that book in one day. Maybe you don't have the time, chapter by chapter. It might take you maybe a few days. But it's a book noteworthy. Very good book. Finding Gobi. Like if you're gonna read any book this year, I know a lot of people hit or miss, read or not. Finding Gobi is like a classic. I mean, it's a really good book. And with that, and I thought of that because Benji from the movie Benji reminds me of Gobi. Asta from The Thin Man. I'm not familiar with that one. Rex from Megan Levy. Not familiar with that one. Brandy. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Hooch from Turner and Hooch. Wishbone. Benjine. Oh Heavenly Dog. Rin Tin Tin. Rin Tin Tin. I appreciate the historical value of a lot of historical films, so I may check that out. Veronica's Dogs. Oh, how could I forget that one? Wow, so much nostalgia. Dogs have been part of our media for a long time. Like, I'm looking at a dog here from a show that I personally loved back in the day. I used to watch the show Eddie. Now, when I say Eddie, what show comes to mind? And not everyone has seen the show. Not everyone got into the show. But it was a free show on one of those free channels, and it had a really good storyline. And it was a smart show. I mean, it kept you engaged. You learned a lot. Eddie from Dun 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 Frasier. And I got into that show a lot because Frasier, him being like was he a psychologist or a psychotherapist? I was into that Jungian psychology and all that. And I actually went to go to a play where the character that plays Frasier's dad, I'm gonna look up his name. He was actually at the play, and I got to meet him, got to shake his hand, and very, very kind person. What's his dad's name? So Frasier characters, and he was at the live play. I mean, he was just a sweetheart. John Mahoney, is the character that plays Frasier and Niall's dad on Frasier. I mean, he was a very standout person, just class act. You go up to someone who's famous like that and has their own show, and you ask for a picture, shake their hands, they can blow you off, and he didn't. He didn't. He stayed until the very end, and he made sure everyone there was respected. Just showing respect. Thank you all for coming out. I know the show's over. Let's talk. So, John Mahoney and Frazier happened to have a dog in the show. The dog Eddie belonging to Frazier's dad. And Eddie had a personality to him. I remember skits with Eddie where Frazier would tell him, "Hey, you don't sit on that chair." And Eddie would do what Eddie does. So they did a good job with that show. They had some shows that were iffy, but mostly it was a really, really great program. Ed, and Eddie. I remember Ed, and Eddie from Cartoon Network. Yep, I remember them. What are they? What are Ed, and Eddie? What was their story? Were they brothers or cousins or something? Or just friends? Alright. Well, that's the list of dogs. Alright, right on. No, I'm not sure next time I'm gonna go on. I figured maybe tomorrow, maybe the next. I know this event's ending, and there is a benefit to giving confessions here. 13 clan goodie bags. What can I do with these? Sell them or keep them? Like bank. Use bank chest. There's one more thing on here, right? Oh, here we go. Raynode. 53, not too shabby. I own pretty much everything here. Oh, well, what I wanted. Alright. What can we get for that? Spooky tokens? Okay, I don't know what this is. Can I use it? Oh, okay. This is an umbrella. Okay, alright, well. What else can we get from here? Shirt. Yeah, I really don't know what to get. Or if I wasted my 20K on that. I don't know. What can we do with these rings? Because earlier I bought a ring of Frank. Oh, allows me to transform into that. Okay. Okay. Bone brooch. What is this? Oh, I see. So that allows you to do that. Interesting. And once these items go away, they won't be available in this form ever again, probably. Oh, okay. Don't have enough space. Here's the bones. Definitely need to grab those. And what is this? Dragon kin bones? I'm not sure what to do with those. Or these. So I really don't know what I need and what I don't in here. What are these? Golden tuna eggs? Not sure what to do with those either. Well, I can deposit. I can get rid of this right here. Bury those. That should be enough space. And where's that dig site? There it is. I think that's a lot of good progress. Made it to 66. And how much more do we need for 67? Let's take a look here. Oh, not that much more, so probably within this week I'll make it up to 67.